2 years ago this month, we finished this incredible achievement. I'm showing you what appears to be a gutter. It is a gutter because what it does is defeat gravity from this end to that end where it drains. And in order to achieve that, the work that was required to fight what is the gravity of this place can only be described as art, fine art of a very high order. And when I asked Force ES and John Owens to be involved in this project, this was why. Is the spine of everything we've been doing since. We call this the behemoth. It's effectively a blind, an incredibly stable blind, upon which we intend to put the hydro panels. Hydro panel, to which we will daisy chain the other solars going up the roof. My thinking these days is to leave a center aisle open. So we're going to go up the roof on both sides and maybe use the two side roofs. So it's easy to access for repair. The behemoth had a purpose, but we haven't been able to get advancing on the purpose. And so now how it fits in is becoming part of things. And one of the beautiful things it gives us is the ability to fight gravity. Because you see where the drain used to be on the poor old thing was here, and the water would go down. Because everything goes down to that point, you see. Everything comes from up there and goes down to that point. And Dad knew when he bought the place that this was the highest one in the neighborhood. This was all ranch land at that time. It went from here to the university, just ranch land. And so what we've achieved here is we've changed Dad's bog into a cactus garden with intention. I've been thinking about this for some time. By shrinking the point here and bringing, these are just substitute bricks, but they represent everywhere where you see red, that's where we're going to have at least a certain amount of walkway. And by eliminating the water mechanism or necessity for a bog, then this thing became more pointed and smaller, and also a dry zone. And that becomes the source of containment of water. Our drain needed something to work with, and we're considering a river. I'd like to make a river here. It's going to be a small river, emulating a river. It'll have banks and so on. It'll be as if this guy's part of the crew who was clear cutting this area. And that drainage allows us to let the water go here. This can go up and down. It is already just based on what's happening from the standpoint of the tarp being torn and the pond not running. And we can evade very easily the dry cactus garden, which gets great light, by the way, I gotta say. All of this is possible because of the work of Force ES, John Owens and Sarah Owens, on the behemoth. This structure, which has been now in its second year, it's going to be getting, I think, some new stuff is going to be happening here. We're talking about getting that source panel up top. And we're talking about starting to collect water, because this mechanism now has to become a water collecting thing. I had wanted the cistern to be there, but the more I think about it, I'm not sure what we're going to have to do about that. When you think about collecting, you have to think about what's above, and it's smarter to find things, locate things in a necessary way. Wow, the garden's getting great light right now. SFPTF website, but I'm excited about our progress here. Dry, that's going to be for food. I'm going to use this for food, not water. I mean, seed and berries, not steaks. That tree's coming down at some point. That tree's coming down perhaps next week. Or at least it's going to be coming to a reasonable height. Our ivy is functioning. It is denuded considerably since Dad was here. Actually, we should water, huh? But everything here can be done by one person. Doesn't take long. Dad taught the students to do so much more than what we're doing. What we're doing is so much less by comparison. When this place was running really beautifully and a lot of students were involved, Dad was able to create various projects that allowed this place to really thrive. It is an organism. The ashram is an organism, you know. So there were times when it was really thriving considerably more than now. But as we proceed, we want to make it more of a public, semi-public space. Semi-public space. So we're reducing the amount of, watering that really has to be done. But look, you can see the leaves, as Dad would always teach us. Look, you can see the leaves of the plant are drooping. It needs water, you know. And we will be keeping this ivy. I like it. Solar paneled lights are nice. I'm enjoying the solar paneled lights. I'm also doing this because we have to understand if we're going to automate this, how would a robot do this? How does a robot come to understand what needs to be watered and where? You know? And how many wires would we have to see for the robot that we have nowadays, or the wireless type robot? How many wheels or unusual things would it have to do in order to manage this amount of watering, which isn't that much? I mean, one person can finish this job in 20 minutes, you know? That's about to get sun, so that side's not getting any more water. So that's the extent of it. I'm going to try to automate that. Students wanted to come, that's the best. When the students want to come, that's ideal. Oh look, there's a Lijardo back there. I was turning the water off. Lizards we call him Lijardo sometimes. He looks thin. He needs some food, huh? Oh, he'll be alright. The behemoth, again, with the gravity defeating principle, which allows this circular water thing to happen, is an exciting development in the second year after Dad has passed here at the St. Francis Professor Thiagarajan Ashram.